Hey friends, it's Ambrosia. I wanted to talk to you today about this controversy going around in the witchcraft community, talking about how witches are hexing the fae, and this entire notion of witches hexing the fae. So this foolery, this ridiculousness, started on TikTok, where someone had commented on another user's content, basically saying that they were going to hex the fae. And ever since then, across multiple different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, people have been advising baby witches not to hex the fae. I have done some digging online to see where a lot of this has come from, because I've been seeing a lot of my own friends on social media just co-signing on this message and just sharing it on social media and just basically co-signing. And when I was sent this by multiple different people, this information, I was like, okay, let me see what this is like actually about, because this is ridiculous. Of course this is ridiculous. Witches hexing the fae? Come on, that's pretty far-fetched. So I went online and I started searching and trying to find out where a lot of this has come from. And the results of that are actually pretty inconclusive. So here's the thing. Since someone made this weird backhanded comment, it has emerged into this much larger thing than just some wild, possibly mentally unwell, crazy person making a crazy claim, as wild ass people do. And in our community, like many other communities, we have our fair share of crazy, and we have our fair share of people saying wild ass things that usually we really don't actually pay much attention to, because they're so outside reality that we don't even really pay it much mind. But this particular instance seems to be very different, because there are so many content creators and people with a platform actually addressing this. Like, it's something to be taken seriously. Like, this is something that we should actually be concerned about in our community. I, for one, am pretty unbothered by this claim, nor do I even think that this is something that is even in reality of my perception and my experience of the spiral path and the craft. Hexing the fae, and also the even more grandiose claims of witches hexing the sun and moon, this is nonsense. This is crazy. And this is absolutely not a thing. And it is not a thing that anybody else should be even remotely humoring, because it's so nonsensical. I understand if you think this is funny, and if you've been seeing the memes, and it's just kind of hilarious to see these funny memes that have emerged from this entire situation, but this is not an actual founded thing within any sense of the craft that I'm aware of. And if any of you are aware of this being done, or this being some sort of practice, I would love to see receipts on that. I would also love to see actual receipts of people themselves coming forth and saying they are doing this, because it is 2020, okay? If these things were really being done, there would 100% be documented, recorded receipts of people actually making these allegations. Now, I'm not saying that people can't be impulsive and dumb and do weird ass stuff, because absolutely I believe that they can. But what I'm saying is, I don't believe that this is an issue even really worth advising or addressing, because it's that nonsensical. You are not going to hex the moon. What does that even look like, sis? What are you doing? Lighting a novena candle? Pouring some honey and scribing on a novena candle and anointing it and dressing it and hexing the moon? Please. What are you doing? Creating a sigil to hex the moon? What, the who, the what, the why, the when, the where, what even benefit is there to hex the moon? And I've seen a lot of other witches speak outwardly about this whole situation, who are followers of lunar gods or goddesses, and same way for the solar gods and goddesses, to the statement witches hexing the sun, who are really upset about this. For one, this is my opinion, I do not believe that any of these gods are the actual literal sun or moon itself. They might have solar or lunar correspondences, but that is not the actual tea, in my opinion. And for two, you shouldn't even be offended by this statement or be reacting to this statement, because it's really a non-issue. because it's not happening. And even if someone was to try to makeshift some foolery for the fae, the sun, or the moon, or whatever, it's not going to do anything. The sun and moon are literal forces in our universe. That makes as much sense to me as saying that you're going to hex gravity. That makes no sense. And this, people on both sides of this issue, the alleged people who are saying this, which by the way, I can't find any of that online. I'm only finding people saying they've heard of this taking place. And it sounds like a whole bunch of clout chasing and bandwagoning to me, because there's really no evidence or receipts of this actually really taking place. There's just a bunch of people advising, oh no, please don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Here's why you shouldn't do it. You're going to get really bad karma. The gods are going to smite you. You're going to be cursed in this life and the next life. Your whole bloodline's going to be cursed. People freaking out, losing their wigs, losing their minds. And I'm just telling you, it's not worth freaking out over. Like I said, it's really, really, truly a non-issue. And this is not something that I feel like we should even be humoring remotely, because it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. You are not going to hex the fae. You are not going to hex the moon. You are not going to hex the sun. You are making an absolute fool of yourself, whoever's making these statements, if anyone is. Because it kind of feels like to me that there's just some people throwing ridiculous claims out there and wanting to gather up energy and attention and notoriety. And for a lot of people, I think this is their little 15 minutes of fame, because this is not a thing in the craft. Witches are not hexing the sun, witches are not hexing the moon, and witches are absolutely not hexing the fae. This is not a thing in any degree. And this whole baby witch trope, ugh, that just is so cringy to me. If you personally want to identify as a baby witch, I think that's great. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. But other people claiming that baby witches are doing this is stupid. And the whole idea of baby witch to me is incredibly condescending and very unwelcoming to new people, to our community. And that is the last thing that our community needs. When our wider witchcraft community already struggles so much to come together, to then have other people try to berate other people for calling them baby witches because maybe they're new to the spiral path in this lifetime. No, we're not doing that. That's canceled. That's over. We're done. We're done with that. And we're done with this whole witches hexing the fae, witches hexing the sun and moon. That's also canceled. We're not giving this any more attention, because this is just people essentially just trying to get your attention by making these grandiose, wild claims. And even furthermore, it's making our witchcraft community look like buffoons to the people outside of our community. It's crazy and it's nonsense. And that's pretty much my opinion on this matter. So I hope all of you have a blessed day.